welcome to another episode of Insurance, Life, and Everything in Between, where today we've got on a lot of guest speakers, a lot of guests on with us today to talk about the insurance industry, but maybe from a slightly younger approach. Adam, I don't know about you, but I'm starting to feel older. I know you are older than me, and your birthday's coming up soon, but one of the things I enjoy the most about working with folks younger than us in the industry is the fire, the passion, the desire, the coachability, the teachability, and then the amount of money they bring in from doing what they were taught live and in the field. So, Adam, why don't you bring yourself on, introduce who you've got with us today, and happy early birthday.
Hey, thanks a lot, Chris. Yeah, pretty excited too. I have a few new guys on with me today, and I really am starting to feel kind of old. We get these guys up and running, working with us and looking at their birthdays. And I've been licensed selling insurance longer than these guys have been born. So
Oh,
now I
man,
sound like an old guy.
you are.
But but with that, Chris, I just you were right. The new people to the industry. It's the fact that what I like about it. We got some guys that are willing to learn and grow, and kind of looking to do something long term. And yeah, really, I just kind of wanted to bring these guys on today so they can talk a little bit about their story of kind of what's gotten them to where they are now, and kind of what they're looking forward to do in the future. These days, I feel like things are a little bit different in the world, where you don't always have to go to school for 4 years to get a good career, or fall into a good career. Heck, we see situations where people go to school for 4 years, and then they're paying back thousands of dollars of student loans. They end up in a career with nothing having to do with their background or their degree. And I feel like, well, heck, even myself, I went to junior college for 2 years. I was ready to start working. So, I kind of look at it as, you don't necessarily have to go that route of a 4-year school and a degree to be guaranteed a good job. And I think we talk so much about people betting on themselves and just getting out there and working and making it happen. And I kind of feel like with what we do, it doesn't matter what sort of education you have, as long as you have like that willingness and that drive to really get out there and work. And the only person that's going to decide your income is yourself. So with that said, yeah, I wanted to bring on, I got 3 new guys here that I think you guys all pretty much, now, did you guys graduate the same year? You're all the same, yes, same age. Okay. Yeah. Why don't you just maybe fill us in a little bit? Whoever wants to start first, just maybe tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of where you're at, and what you're looking to accomplish moving forward here.
Yeah, right now we all graduated 2022.
2022.
Now it's just turned 2024, so about 2 years from then. For myself personally, I was working in a gym where I had the vision of getting up to franchising a couple of those. And then, like, I never had the college route in mind. It was always doing something outside of that, working my way up within a company, whatever I wanted to do. And then kind of while I was working at a gym, I saw a few guys I went to school with, same age as me, in the insurance industry, making a lot of money. And I've always known sales is, I've always heard it from like billionaires, anybody that's an influencer within just like kind of like the sales industry. They've always preached getting into sales young is kind of the best way to go about growing yourself if you want to be an entrepreneur or get into business later down the road in life.
Yeah. And you know what? I forgot to introduce these guys. I have right next to me, I have Scout Kloss, and then I have Matt Soltis, and then we have Isaac Whiting. So yeah, thanks for filling us in on that, Isaac. I know a lot of people that kind of came from that background of, like working at a gym, kind of the same thing, like that whole, well, heck, you were in sales there.
Yeah.
You know, you were in sales at the gym. You had, well, if you were personally training people,
Right.
I mean, I know you had to sell people on even that, you know, on different packages and stuff like that. So
yeah, that was my first ever experience being in any type of sales. It started up where I was just at the front desk working on selling nutrition, things like that, any protein, creatine, any supplements. And then from there, I got to the point where I was a manager, so I had to do our coaching sessions, which we book every new member into one of those. And from there, it's trying to sell them personal training, team training, whatever service it may be.
well, heck, it was a good start.
Yeah.
Like you said, I mean, you kind of saw the value and really what could be. But heck, that was a good starting point, I'm sure. Matt, what kind of got you into?
Same thing what Isaac was saying, different opportunity. Like before this, I was building decks at a construction company. So it's a way different ball game. I kind of had to learn those people skills and everything that's involved with a business. It's because I was used to like working with my hands, like being physical. This is more like working mentally, being more mentally tough. So it's way different.
What do you think is tougher? What do you think is more draining? The physical or the mental?
Definitely mental. You don't realize it at first, but when you get home at the end of the day, it's more mental. You're definitely
I can see that.
more worn out.
How about you, Scout?
Yeah, so I actually started off in junior college as well.
Okay.
I did a year at Joliet Junior College, decided that's not the route I want to take, dropped out, and then actually ended up at the same insurance company as Isaac. A couple of our buddies from high school were doing it. We're all around the same age. So we've all been doing it for about roughly 4 to 5 months. And then we made the change over here. So excited to see what it brings, you know?
Yeah, what are some of the obstacles you guys came across maybe at your prior place that maybe made things a little bit difficult? I mean, I think their training's pretty decent. They seem like they have a pretty decent startup when it comes to getting people licensed and ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you feel like there was anything there that maybe had lacked that you wish maybe would have been a little bit different? Or
I mean, I feel like the training was pretty good because at first, like me starting out on the phones, I was very shaky and very unconfident, but that just comes with time and reps. I don't know. I feel like I was pretty well trained because at first I could barely talk to someone on the phone. It was pretty crazy.
yeah,
It was good though to see my improvement throughout like the months.
yeah. Well, it's good.
You know what tells me, Adam? You know what that tells me? That tells me that training is so important in whatever form you're being trained. Having somebody to mentor you and to at least give you that direction to go is crucial. There are so many insurance agents. Maybe one of them is watching this video today, months and years later, just desperately searching for someone to tell them what the flip to do. And training is so important. I got a question. I think what's wrong with a lot of the industry is the industry doesn't ask anything from the people that sign up to work in it. Well, here's your contract. Here's this, here's that, and good luck. But there's no expectations after that. What are your guys' thoughts on working within an agency and a culture that when they see talent, they expect a lot from that talent in return so they can really reap the rewards of the industry?
Like
That's a good question.
Yeah. It's like it's in
Hey,
I mean, I think it's better for the person because they have more to work towards, or they show they're able to see their potential.
I think that, yeah, I think in situations where nothing is asked of somebody, you don't get anything in return. And when you don't expect anything of somebody, they don't become anything. And then the whole thing gets wasted. I just think guys like you that are young, hungry, willing to learn in a market where you're all in the same area together, it's almost impossible to fail, which is a pretty cool thing, Adam.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, Chris. I think that, I think a lot of guys out there that it's like they're trained, but then so much of it is just, okay, now just go out there and get them, see what you can do. And maybe the initial training is good, but I think what lacks is the engagement after that. Like I told these guys, I was out working with Isaac last week. We did a class training last Monday. We just kind of sat down one-on-one, went through everything, talked about some of the different companies that we do business with, went through like some of the underwriting and that, and then we went out for 2 days out in the field. And then I told him, look, now you can put your presentation together. I'd like to hear it next week, which is now. And from there, it's just a matter of getting him some leads. I'm going to go out with him on his leads, kind of see how he does. And then from there, it's just that, to me, I just think it's that constant communication. One thing I was thinking about, Chris, too, is watching that football game last night, watching the Super Bowl, and it goes to overtime. And the 49ers, the 49ers and Chiefs, 49ers got the ball to start overtime. And the way the overtime rules are is that one team gets the ball. If they score, the other team still has the opportunity or ability to be able to get the ball and see what they can do. But so what happened was that the 49ers, they scored a field goal. So they're essentially up 3-0. And then the Chiefs, they basically they could not make any mistakes. Anything but either a field goal or a touchdown would end the game. If a guy fumbles the ball and the other team recovers, if Mahomes would have thrown an interception, the game would have been over. It's like they had to do everything they could to get all the way to the end and end up scoring either, like I said, either a field goal to keep that game going or a touchdown. So it's kind of like in our business, it's like, what are you going to do when you're, when you kind of have everything working against you and there's only you have one choice and all you can do is you got to do whatever you can to succeed. I think a lot about that with, even the industry itself, younger people like we're talking about here that we're working with, where the industry itself, I think maybe there's a lot of people out there that tend to maybe get in people's ears when they hear about an opportunity that is just commission based, where you're not earning a salary, and basically you are essentially betting on yourself. And so I almost feel like it with these guys, even, I mean, heck, it's kind of like right now, that's kind of where they're at. I mean, to me, I don't think failure is really even an option, and they have to do everything that they can to succeed. And maybe even to maybe there's some naysayers out there. Maybe there's some people that they have to prove wrong. Maybe there's people that have gotten in their ears saying, oh no, you need to, have some sort of guaranteed income. You have to have that steady flow of money coming in. And with that, you're not making any money unless you're out working. I mean, Have you guys run into any situations like that? Have people gotten in your ears at all, saying, who would want to really just work on commission? Don't you think you need to have some sort of salary and make sure that you have some salary and benefits and things like that?
Yeah, I've definitely run into that. It's most of the time it's I'd say with older people, say it's whether people I know just in the gym that I used to train, or say it's just an older family member where they're like, oh, don't you want something more guaranteed? Where honestly, comfortability is the only issue there. And then when you're comfortable, you're not really getting out, kind of forcing yourself to get out of your comfort zone. That's where you'll find yourself prevailing. And when you're comfortable, you're just going to be doing the same things, not really willing to change to do anything differently because you're getting the same result.
Yeah.
No, definitely.
Adam,
I feel like it's less heard of.
Go ahead.
For somebody to be like full commission based. I mean, from my standpoint, at least, to like go to college or join the trades. That was like my plan. I never really thought about full commission.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like that salary is a little bit of a safety net if you don't work as much.
Yeah, I agree. One thing when Isaac and I were out training last week, we talked a little bit about that and the fact that we are essentially deciding our income. Right. There's nobody that is going to say, here, sign this contract. This is how much money you're going to make this year. You're the one really who can sign a contract yourself and say, this is how much I'm going to make this year.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of putting a plan together to make it happen. That's one thing I've always liked about our business is that, yeah, I mean, there's no floor, but there's no ceiling. I mean, you can really make as much as you want to make as long as you're willing to put the time in, you put a plan together of what's going to work. And you can't, to me, I kind of look at it as you can't really even consider failure as an option.
No.
You know going in that this is going to work and you got to do whatever you can to make it work.
Yeah, you got to know that failure is just a stepping stone in the right direction, because before you learn how to do something, you got to learn how not to do it first.
Exactly. Chris, I know you had a question that you wanted to ask for some input.
Yeah, we had that conversation this morning on our Monday call that uncomfortable is just you growing. Like that's really okay. And if you're comfortable that nothing's really taking place at that point, or you've really mastered something. So if you mastered sitting on the couch or mastered your uncomfortable is okay. I got two questions for you guys. First one should be a little easier than the last one. What would making $100,000 a year, which is about $8,000 a month, really look like for you and your life right now?
For me right now, and I think I could speak for all of us because we're all in a situation where we're not really in the same boat as most people, where they have rent to pay every month, a mortgage, or even say kids that depend on them where they need to raise them. So just being at this age, making say 6 figures a year would kind of really excel us towards the future, because at a young age, it's kind of a pinnacle age where you could use your money to really get you to a point where you can retire 2 to 3 years, 4, 5, 10 years earlier than where you can, where you would be, say, if you were going to college. And I was taking this time right now to go to college, go to school, and not be making anything, where I could really use it to kind of leverage myself into an early kind of retirement, I would say.
Yeah,
I would say
go ahead.
I would say it would definitely be life changing because I've never had that type of money. It would also be a reality check because I've never really had that type of money. I also still live with my parents, so I feel like I definitely have to grow more, like focus on saving money and putting it somewhere as well. So it would definitely be a reality check and also life changing, but it's definitely doable as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I got one more for you to follow up on that. What are you going to do? Because this is one of the biggest moments in someone's career when you figured out the basics. You know how to knock a door, you know how to work a lead, you know how to write a piece of business, you know how to put money in your account within 48 hours, which is unheard of in the rest of the world. What are you going to do when you wake up one morning, you open up your online banking app, and you've got more money in your account than you need and you've ever seen before? What are you going to do at that moment that really, because that's such a pivotal moment in somebody's early stage of their career? What are you going to do then?
I think you need to keep going or keep what you've been doing, because I was listening to actually your guys' podcast like a couple weeks ago. It was the one how to make $200,000.
Okay.
And yeah, you had stated when this instant comes up with somebody, they either like get the full belly syndrome and stop doing what they've been doing, or just keep doing what they've been doing, or they'll either fall off or keep going.
Yeah. I mean, you either get lazy, you get distracted, you get interested in shiny objects, when at that moment you just realize, hey, this is working. Just keep doing what's working. Maybe get a dog and a hobby and knit on the side if you need something fun to do. But once you've realized how much you've achieved, keep going.
Yeah, one thing I'd like to maybe add in talking about distractions. I mean, that's something too that, I mean, as we get older, maybe those distractions are a little bit different. I would say one thing I found, you know, you guys come from a group again that I think the training is really well. I think their structure is good, where they do almost make it feel like you are an employee. Even though you're not getting a salary, they pretty much tell you, this is what time you have to be at the office, and this is what you're doing today. This is what you're doing the next day. and then not only that, but then I feel like there's distractions. I mean, we all have life outside of business. So I guess it's maybe a two-parted question. How can you handle the independence, or how would you be able to handle the independence, knowing that now you are essentially your own bosses, pretty much running your own businesses, uh, and again, when distractions arise, how are you able to maybe overcome those sort of things so you can kind of keep the main objective in mind of really what you're looking to do. I mean, it's real easy to fall off track with things. Yeah. So what do you think are maybe some good ways to maybe handle the independence, to see to it that the distractions that can happen out there don't get in the way, to kind of keep you focused on what you need to be doing?
Yeah, I would say definitely discipline. That's where discipline comes in, and you have to be disciplined when it comes to that, because it's your living, and you got goals to reach. So definitely discipline and routine, getting in a good routine on a daily basis, making sure you're keeping yourself on track, so that when that goal comes around, you can be happy and hit it, and then you could set an even higher goal next time.
It makes sense.
Right. I'd say it comes down to also having a plan, because if you don't have a plan and you're disciplined, you could be disciplined all you want. But if you have no plan, you're not going to be going in any sort of direction. So just keep in mind your goals and the plan to reach those goals. And then in regard to distractions, you always got to ask yourself, is this going to help me get close to my goals today? If not, then really rethink the decision, see what it is you're trying to get out of it, whether it's something that's just temporary gratification. And if tomorrow I'm going to think, oh, that was worth it. If not, I always try to think, is this going to put me in a place tomorrow where I'm closer to my goals?
Yeah, that's good. I think we always need to focus on our end goals
Right.
of really what we're looking to do. And, things come up. You might have a friend call you and say, hey, it's a nice day today. You want to go to the Cubs game today?
Right.
Well, I'm not going to say, don't just say no, but I think maybe you need to focus on the hours that you're working. And if you take off one day to maybe do something like that, then you got to figure out ways to make up for it other days. Maybe you work Monday through Saturday and you decide, well, I need to maybe go out on a Sunday and work for a few hours if you take off the other time. I think it's important to, make up for time. You got to enjoy life and reap the benefits and the rewards of what we do. But I think we talk about discipline and just the importance of that, and go out and have a good time, but figure out ways to kind of make up for it other times. Would you agree, Chris?
Yeah, structure equals discipline, and discipline kicks in when motivation has worn off. Like, it's really easy to get motivated about stuff. Like, it's really easy to get excited about making money and helping people. It's really easy to watch a video and get hyped up over something. But when your heart rate goes down, when your stress level, like, you got to kick into the next gear from there. I think, Adam, one of the things we do really, really, really well is structure. Like, all you got to do is plug into the structure provided, and the results will come from it. And then when you make a commitment to do something and to build out that schedule, everything else gets more fun to do on the background, but you got to stick to the schedule. Like, my kids are at Great Wolf Lodge right now. They're off from school. I don't know why they're off from school, but they are. But I have a commitment on Mondays to do a certain amount of things, and I'm going to stick to those certain amount of things, even if it isn't necessarily at this stage of my career, knocking a door or setting an appointment. But it's doing things like this with you, with Adam, with the agency at 9 o'clock. They just have to be done. So when you make a commitment to do something, you do it. You build out that structure, knowing that it's more fun when you earn that free time, not just taking time and being broke. I got one more question to throw your way, Adam, or to the group there, and see what their thoughts are. But come back to me on that. Whatever you got to ask them, come back to me before you close out.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you guys, maybe share with us your, we are like 2 weeks into February. You're just getting started. Have you guys thought about goals for this year? Have you thought about goals long term, maybe if you want to share a little bit about, what you're looking to do and where to go with this, I would say starting maybe this year and then, in the future of kind of like, I'm sure you've probably thought a little bit about those sort of things, but, yeah, what are your guys' plans?
So, goal for the year, I know we'll basically be starting up in March, so we'll have 10 months. With my goals, I always like to shoot high just because if anything, I'll fall short and I'll still be in a very good spot. But I'd say just for production, when it comes to personal production in the field, I want to do the goal is $200,000 in production this year. And then other goals just in long-term vision, I want to get to the point where I have a team around me and an agency that's doing $1 million a month. I would say that's a good goal just to keep myself working towards that and kind of to a high standard to the point where say I fall short of 200,000, I'm at 175, it's still at a pretty good spot.
Yeah, not too bad.
I haven't really thought about any long-term goals in that aspect. I definitely do need to do that and write them down. But more short-term, definitely I want to hit $10,000 in premium in April. I know March is going to be a little bit more of a test run, getting things down, but definitely $10,000 in April in premium. That's what I'm shooting for.
Cool. How about yourself, Scott?
Yeah, I haven't really thought about the money aspect of things too much. I would love to make 6 figures this year. So $100,000 is my goal at the moment for the year, for the remainder of the year. This year, I'm going to be focusing on myself, my business. I'd love to bring people in and teach them how to do the exact same thing that we're doing. Give them the same opportunity. It's a great thing, helping other people.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta love doing that.
Cool. Yeah, that's, I've talked about how I'd say probably the first half of my career was mainly just focused on going out and writing business. And it was really just because I didn't really know a whole lot about building and growing. And, I did pretty well as just a personal producer, making company conventions, earning a pretty good income. But you start to really see as time goes on, like I said, I mean, I'd be on a company trip hanging out with people making 10 times as much as I was making. And you kind of start to see how they're doing it. And honestly, it's like another step, but I think you guys are right. First things first, you got to focus on yourselves. You need to focus on learning the business. It's hard to teach others when you're still kind of learning it yourself. And that's, one thing that we talked about. Heck, people that want to get in the business, that's where we're happy to work with them, bring them on, train them. Honestly, makes your job even a little bit easier. We do all the busy stuff for you guys. And then as time goes on, then they're already a part of your hierarchy down the road. So yeah, I think that, yeah, definitely you guys are on the right track. And do you have anything else, Chris, before we sign off today?
Yeah, I got one more. Hopefully not
Okay.
too hard because the last one, I think, oops. Last one for you. Are you ready to really embrace the final expense market? Obviously, the people that we see, little soul to the earth, little rough around the edges. Sometimes things smell a little strange, or it's a bug you never witnessed before. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's easy. Sometimes they're just mean to you, and you think to yourself, "Why are you being mean to me? I'm not a mean person." Are you ready for that type of environment? Because those type of people, it's an underserved market, an underserved community, a kind of people that really need people that want to help them. But are you ready to go out there, see things and smell things and deal with things maybe you would have never before?
I would say yes. Yes, I am. Me, myself, personally, I was in the field with Adam last week. And you're definitely right. You meet some characters. You're going to smell some weird things, sit in some odd places. But yeah, I feel like all it will do is it's going to force you to grow as a person. And you're going to learn how to work with more people, which being compatible with more people, you'll be able to do more business. And even in the future, be able to be compatible with more people that you're bringing on and you're working with in the future.
I would say yes, definitely. It's gonna take a little bit to get used to because obviously we're selling on the phones before, so now we're gonna be in the field most of the day. So I would say yes, definitely. It's gonna be better to be out in the field and take home some stories at the end of the day too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and what Isaac is talking about, when we were out training last week, one of the applications we wrote, I did the whole presentation in my car. The client came out to the car. She sat in the front seat with me. Isaac's sitting in the back seat. She just, she said, I have some dogs that just are not very nice, or I don't trust them. My house is a mess. I would prefer if we could just sit in your car. And well, sure, why not? And then we had the other sale that we made the same day. We showed up, and I mean, there was this lady. She had like this fence. We couldn't even figure out how to get through. It was like this chicken wire fence. Couldn't figure out how to even get to her door. Fortunately, she saw us in the window and came out. And but anyways, yeah, I ended up sitting on the steps on the side of her house, going through the whole presentation with her, while Isaac was sitting on a couch that was out in the yard. That it was actually two couches on top of the other. One couch was stacked on top of the other. It was upside down. He's like just sitting on this upside down couch. And it was funny. She went in because she needed to get us her bank information. And I told Isaac, I said, "Welcome to Final Expense Land." Because that's, we always have stories. We always come home with just, I mean, half the time, I mean, I'm taking a shower when I first get home. I smell like smoke and fried food. And, and so you just never know. I mean, I just, but, like I said, I think that's kind of what makes it enjoyable too, because you have those stories. I told him, heck, you're always going to remember, your first day out when we went training, these little appointments that we had and just what we ran into. I told him, I mean, I've done presentations on top of garbage cans, on top of my trunk, on the hood of my car. I mean, heck, if you have what you need to write an application, you're gonna spend the time to figure out a way to make it happen regardless of the surroundings.
Exactly. It's an amazing business. It's an amazing opportunity. The only limits you have in it are what you put on it. And I think with what you guys have going there and what we've gotten put together so far, the odds are so incredibly in your favor. It's awesome to see it get started.
All right. Well, thanks again. And I'm really looking forward to working with you guys and helping you along the way, and seeing what you guys are going to be able to accomplish. Like I said, I'm 21 years into the business now, and again, I'm going to sound like an old guy here, but if I knew now or if I knew back then what I know now, boy, I'd be so much further ahead. And that's the truth. But that's what's cool, is that I'm able to help you guys and kind of teach you guys everything that I've learned over the last 21 years to help you get to where you need to get a lot faster.
Exactly. Like, comment, and subscribe. If you watch this today and you haven't done one of those things, that's kind of mean. It's kind of like, why would you do that? Like, you spent all this time on the video and you didn't like the video. Come on now. It's over here. Like the video. Comment something that you took away from the video. If you didn't take anything away from the video, you probably don't have a pulse. That's okay. Subscribe to the channel. The channel has grown exponentially the last 42 days. Let's keep that pace up. Adam and guys, appreciate you joining us today.